Hi everyone, this is our Tableau geographical analysis project and we are Team Footy. So our first organization is FIFA, and this is our executive summary. FIFA is a nonprofit organization which is known as the International Governing Body of Football, Futsal, and Beach Soccer. They're founded in 1904. FIFA states that their mission is to develop the game, touch the world, and build a better future. So one of the concepts I wanted to highlight was FIFA 2.0, which is FIFA's new vision to promote the game of football, protect its integrity, and bring the game to all. They implemented this after their corruption scandal a couple years ago with President Sepp Blatter. So with their business strategy, FIFA has 3 strategies to help them achieve their goals outlined in FIFA 2.0: investment, innovation, and opportunity. So investment, FIFA will dedicate significant resources and human capital to developing the game and enhancing the football experience. Innovation, FIFA will leverage technological advances to improve the quality of the football experience for all. And ownership, FIFA will assume greater responsibility for the governance, scale, and effectiveness of its operation. So in addition to these 3 strategies, they have 4 guiding principles which will help them to achieve this: transparency, accountability, inclusivity, and cooperation. So transparency, FIFA will be transparent in how they govern and grow the game, how they operate in their business, and interact with key stakeholders. For their accountability, they will be held accountable by stakeholders all across the globe, particularly member associations like UEFA, CONCACAF, CAF, and the Chinese Association. Inclusivity, FIFA will reflect the world and the communities in which it operates. And cooperation, FIFA will actively engage with football's diverse ecosystem to shape the future of football.
So for this next slide, we have the Adidas executive summary. It's a multinational sporting good company that operates internationally, and it was founded in 1949 in Herzogenaurach, Germany, founded by the brothers Adi and Rudolf Dassler. So their mission is to enhance athletic performance through innovation, many outside of their core sport heritage, and also for their business strategy analysis. It's basic. Each match is filled with Adidas branding. They have a sponsor with EA, and usually they use that kind of media to get exposure, to get marketing exposure with like in-game balls and kits and players themselves, even the boots that they wear in the game. Also, they also basically have a sponsor with even FIFA in the UEFA Champions League too, and even the World Cup. It's a very big influence on all the companies, and they usually aim to secure competitive advantages in low operating areas and low labor costs. So they pretty much operate on 145 subsidiaries through the globe, including continents of Europe, Asia, North, and South Americas as of 2015.
So EA Sports, we also it was founded in 1982 in Redwood City, California. That's where their headquarters are too. Everyone kind of knows what EA Sports is. It's one of the global leaders in the entertainment industry, specifically in the gaming industry. And their mission is inspire the world to play. So a lot of their stuff has to do with soccer, and that's so as you see below, I have like a little quote from Travis Varner, who's their senior communications manager, and he says, "Our vision is to create the most authentic, social, and connected football experience by bringing our games to more devices, more countries, and more fans around the world." So that's really their goal, is to expand the FIFA experience globally. And then also right above that, I kind of talked a little bit about their foundation, their purpose and beliefs. They talk about creativity, pioneering, passion, learning, teamwork, and determination. So Yael mentioned a little bit about how Adidas is, in EA games and FIFA. So a lot of EA's revenue, the largest revenue contributor, is from live services, particularly FIFA Ultimate Team. And last year, some of their net revenue in the fiscal year of 2020 was $5.5 billion. So that just shows like how they are one of the global leaders in the gaming industry and the entertainment industry. Some of their business strategies that I came across, it says they use a hybrid strategy so they can license and develop their own games. So for example, FIFA, their biggest game, most well-known, well-used game, is a licensed game. And then like Battlefield is something that they own, like they created. They distribute their games in different types of sales models. They have digital downloads where, you know, someone downloads it on their gaming console, and the gaming console will give the EA Sports a royalty fee. They monetize games through subscriptions. I have here EA Access, which I think just turned into EA Play, where you can buy a subscription, you get a certain, like all the EA games, you get an option. And then they also have distribution agreements with brands like Sony and Microsoft, because Sony, Microsoft, PlayStation, and Xbox. So like EA distributes as a distribution partner for the games, and then it gives back a royalty fee to Sony and Microsoft.
Now we'll move into the Tableau analysis portion of our geographical analysis of these three companies. And to do this, we have made 3 Tableau visualizations, 2 maps, and a graph that shows a little bit about how these 3 companies intersect in the industry of football globally. And these types of Tableau analysis can help these organizations grow their business and decide where to allocate their funds and efforts to market and grow the sport. So first, I'm going to go ahead and open up the first Tableau map. And this map is of the number of avid or casual soccer fans. So these are people that are either very interested in soccer already, or they are potentially interested in becoming larger fans of the sport. And so these fans are, I created this graph that showcases these fans by finding the percentages of the fans in each of the countries where data was available. And then I did that percentage as a percentage of the total population of each country to give a number in the millions of how many soccer fans you might find in that specific country. So if we go to a country like Brazil, that's more densely populated, just because of the sheer number of people in the country, the number of fans is going to be greater. And same thing for like the United States versus any one specific European country. And I also even excluded India and China in this visualization just because of their population sizes are so large that it skews the data, and then the rest of the world looks like they don't have very many soccer fans. So for the purpose of this visualization, we have those 2 areas excluded, but we also need to note that the Asia Pacific market is a very strong market where you can find a lot of fans just because of the sheer size of the country and the fact that the sport exists there. And then I'm going to move on now to my second visualization that kind of corresponds with this idea and these trends, that breaks it down by a region. And we're looking now at Adidas sales numbers. And as for Adidas sales numbers, you can see where their strongest sales in the millions of US dollars are in Europe, Western Europe. And then the Asia Pacific market sells very high for them. That's where their highest sales numbers are. But then you notice an area like Latin America lags behind a little bit compared to like Europe, for example, where traditional football ideology is that Western Europe dominates the football landscape internationally. So for a brand like Adidas that we've seen already intersects and tries to place their brand in video games like FIFA that are sold around the world, and they sell their merchandise and sponsor clubs globally, they can think about needing to get their brand on jerseys and equipment in countries in Latin America like Brazil, because of, in our last map, we noticed that Brazil is among the largest soccer fans in the world, is the highest collection of soccer fans in the world because of the sheer size of the country and population density. And so using these 2 data analyses, you can see that there is some insights to be had for these organizations when they decide where to allocate funds, and when FIFA sets up the World Cup, what areas of the globe that they need to be marketing. They need to understand where their fans are and where they already spend behind. And now we'll go ahead and go back, and we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Haley, and she's going to talk to you a little bit more about EA Sports' numbers.
Yeah, so for this presentation, it was originally supposed to be a map much like Josh's. However, the data that we were able to find on the sales was not very detailed and it did not look good. So we decided to go with a bar graph would best visualize how this data looks. So we looked at the sales per unit for FIFA 18, expecting that there might be a influence of the FIFA World Cup in 2018 to affect the sales. It surprisingly did not affect the sales as we thought it would. We thought it may vary by country. We thought there might have been like just an increase overall in sales. And while FIFA 18 is extremely popular and the FIFA franchise for EA Sports is a very popular game, they just remain very consistent in their sales. We do see that Europe does dominate the sales for the video game with this tallest bar right here, which is that they sold almost 9 million units in just the PS4 alone. However, I'd like also to draw like a little bit of attention to these smaller graphs, such as in the Japan region. And although these are very small, the fact that this non-very detailed data I found included Japan as an entirely separate group and did not group it under others shows how Josh mentioned earlier that the Asia Pacific market is very influential in the soccer environment and can be very a good market to focus on for EA and FIFA in the future. Yeah, so continuing on to the next slide, we will go into our conclusions. So basically, we see the highest amount of sales in the European region, and this is just, as we've all been saying, Europe dominates the soccer market and just everything in general. So then other regions are lacking, like Latin America, but these can also be a focus for EA and FIFA to allocate funds to markets such as Brazil in order to not necessarily overtake the market, but definitely drive revenue and to show how large soccer is on a global scale. And then also we want to show that Japan is driving video game sales. So that just shows that how powerful the Asia Pacific market in the soccer industry can be.
And then here are our sources, and thank you guys for listening to our presentation on our Tableau geographical analysis in the football landscape in the football industry. Thank you.